In December 2000, Tokyo's Setagaya ward was the site of a crime that would shock Japan, a crime that remains unsolved to this day. A family of 4 was murdered inside their own home, and the killer stayed inside for hours. This wasn't a robbery. There was no forced entry beyond a rear window. There was no ransom, and yet the crime scene told a story far more chilling than any conventional homicide. The Miyazawa family lived quietly in this suburban Tokyo neighborhood. Tako and Yasuko Miyazawa, along with their 2 children, were respected neighbors, ordinary people leading ordinary lives. The Setagaya ward itself was considered safe. Families strolled in the evenings, children played on the streets, and neighbors knew one another. Crime here was rare, especially violent crime. And then, one December evening, everything changed. The scene that awaited police was horrifying, yet unusual. There was no struggle at the front door, no signs of forced entry beyond a small unlocked window at the rear. The family had apparently been surprised, yet forensic analysis would reveal that the killer did not leave immediately. He lingered. He ate, drank, and moved freely, as if the home belonged to him. Why linger? And how could someone leave so much evidence yet vanish completely? Early the next morning, a neighbor noticed something unusual. Mail had piled up. Curtains were drawn strangely. Police were called, and what they found inside the house would shake the nation. The family had been killed brutally, but forensic experts were struck by the absence of obvious defensive wounds in some cases, suggesting the victims were subdued quickly. The killer moved carefully, deliberately, yet left footprints, fingerprints, and DNA behind. It was both audacious and reckless, a crime of precision paired with psychological audacity. And still, no one could identify the perpetrator. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police acted swiftly. Specialists examined every surface, dusted every window frame, and cataloged each fingerprint. DNA swabs were sent for analysis. Neighbors were interviewed extensively. Witnesses reported seeing shadows near the house, but no one saw faces clearly. Security cameras in the area were minimal. This was 2000. A time before ubiquitous CCTV in residential neighborhoods. Despite meticulous work, police encountered frustrating developments. The killer had left clues, yes, but none of them led to an identifiable suspect. Investigators also studied behavioral patterns. Profilers suggested the intruder may have had previous experience with homes, either through work or stalking, and displayed psychopathic tendencies. He showed no fear, no remorse, and lingered in the home while committing one of the most shocking crimes Tokyo had seen in decades. The evidence collected was paradoxical. On one hand, the killer left a wealth of physical evidence, footprints, fingerprints, and DNA. On the other hand, he escaped entirely, experts speculated. Someone with intimate knowledge of homes could predict police procedures and anticipate investigation patterns. Perhaps he knew the family. Perhaps he had scouted the neighborhood. DNA analysis was advanced for its time, but nothing in the databases matched the killer. Modern forensic technology has since been applied, yet decades later, no match exists. The case remains a textbook example of forensic paradox. The killer left evidence, and yet remained invisible. Public outrage was immediate. How could such a crime happen in a quiet neighborhood? How could the killer remain free? Media coverage was relentless. Headlines screamed mystery. Talk shows dissected every clue. The public debated endlessly. Was it a stranger, someone with a vendetta, or a meticulous psychopathic intruder? The lingering presence of the perpetrator in the home, moving, eating, leaving evidence, struck a chord of fear. And for over 20 years, the questions remain. Who did this? Why linger? And why has the killer never been caught? Part 2 dives deeper into the investigation, the forensic breakthroughs, and the enduring mysteries that continue to fascinate and terrify Japan decades later. Investigators faced unique challenges. The killer left a trail, yet it went nowhere. DNA samples were abundant, but the perpetrator was not in any criminal database. Fingerprints could not be matched. Behavioral profilers studied the crime. They suggested a calculated individual with psychopathic traits. He displayed confidence, patience, and audacity, the type of criminal who could commit murder and remain unflinching in the aftermath. Forensic scientists also noted the unusual pattern of the crime. He lingered, he explored, he consumed food. These were not typical home invasion behaviors. Many experts believed the killer was enjoying the control, taking time to satisfy psychological impulses rather than rushing to escape. Several theories emerged over the years. A psychopathic stranger, possibly transient or itinerant, who happened upon the house. Someone familiar with the family, who could predict routines. An organized individual with prior knowledge of Japanese homes and behavior. Despite these theories, nothing fully explains why the killer lingered for hours. Every forensic clue raises more questions. Why eat and drink in the house? Why leave evidence if he could escape unnoticed? Some criminal psychologists argue this case demonstrates a combination of audacity and psychological gratification rarely seen in residential crimes. The media amplified every development. Forums debated DNA evidence. Analysts speculated motives. Public pressure on the police grew intense. The lingering horror was not just the murder itself. It was the brazen audacity. A killer who invaded a family home, stayed, and vanished. The Setagaya Family Murders became a case study in public fascination with unsolved crimes. And the police efforts, though meticulous, were scrutinized by media and academics alike. Advances in DNA testing, genetic genealogy, and forensic technology have been applied to the case in recent years. Yet no breakthrough has led to an arrest. The case also shaped public perception of home safety in Japan. Families became wary of strangers. Neighborhood watch programs increased, and criminologists cite the case as one of the most psychologically complex unsolved family murders in modern Japanese history. The Setagaya family murders remain an unsettling mystery. A killer who lingered, evidence left behind, and no one ever caught. Over 20 years later, the case still puzzles experts and horrifies the public. It is a story of audacity, psychological complexity, and unanswered questions. Subscribe Criminal Verse, where every crime hides a story.